Hi guys, just thought I'd do a little talk through about these things in the window ledge that I show on my daily good morning video short and try and put them in perspective a little bit. They are all individual projects that I started last year, as it is now. We're in 2025, it was 2024 when I started them. They're all individual in that there's separate videos covering them. Actually, I say 2024. This guy, he's been running for probably 10 years or more. He was one of my very early solar rockers converted to something else. And originally, he had crocodile clips on him, and I'd clip him onto dead batteries because the solar rocker uses such a low amount of power that it would still run happily on batteries that were otherwise dead. At some time or other, I stuck him on this skateboard and added this little battery pack so that we could just put new batteries in there rather than having to use crocodile clips. That battery is another dead one, but that one's been in there for several months now. Every so often he does go slows right down or even stops, and all I have to do is just rotate it a little bit to refresh the contacts because they do get a bit of corrosion on them. I used to think it was the sunlight and that having an effect, and I think it does have an effect, but I think it's also the damp in that they do corrode a little bit, and then if I just rotate it a little bit, that restores it and away he goes again. The cheese witch, that is a real surprise, that one. That is a lump of cheese wrapped in plastic. I think I use sticky tape as well, just to seal it and hold the moisture in. We can't really see, but the cheese is well past its sell-by date. I don't know, is there a date on it? I don't think so. I'd have to find the original video. But that one, she runs, well, she's been running for months. I do have to replace those are magnesium strips. They do get eaten away. There's some eaten away ones laying there, and in fact, these ones over here are the ones that I've taken out of there and just chucked over there out the way. So it does get through the magnesium strips, not on a daily basis, but on weeks or months. The copper strip, there's a bit of green on it, but generally speaking, I don't have to do anything to that other than occasionally wiggle that crocodile clip, because again, we get a bit of corrosion form between the crocodile clip teeth and the copper strip. But the actual copper strip itself, I haven't had to replace at all because all the action takes place on the magnesium strip. The little bird there has no circuitry at all, but rocks in sympathy with that one because it's still got its magnet. So the magnet reacts to the magnet swinging in that one, and that's why that one swings at the same time. So they're magnetically coupled. Right, next, this, I call it my solar clock flower. The clock itself has got a nickel metal hydride AA battery in it that the solar panel is attached to. So the solar panel keeps the nickel metal hydride battery charged up, and it's been doing that for probably years now. I don't remember when that one started, but I always had these two leads hanging off it so I could measure the voltage. just to see how it was getting on. And it occurred to me at some time last year, it must have been, that I could connect up this solar rocker via its crocodile clips to those leads. And now this solar rocker is actually running off the nickel metal hydride battery. Well, and I suppose solar power when the sun is shining, but it rocks 24 hours a day through the darkness as well. So it's running off the nickel metal hydride battery. Clearly, there's enough power going into that nickel metal hydride battery to run the clock and the solar rocker. So that's what that's doing. This one, the little clock on it comes out of one of those little kits that you buy. They usually sell them as potato clock batteries. I think this one was actually sold as a banana clock battery. You see them with various different types of fruit or vegetable, but they're all the same thing. What actually happens is it's got a brass and I'm probably using magnesium, but I think it's brass and zinc electrodes that would go into the potato or the banana or the apple or whatever. All I've done here is, these are tea bags. So it's a plastic container full of old tea bags that are wet, and that gives you your electrolyte to actually run the clock. Every so often I have to top it up with a bit of water, but there's enough electrolyte there to keep the circuit running. I think the only thing I don't like about that one is that the display is so small you really can't see it. This one came from a similar kit, banana, potato, whatever, and does the same thing, only in this case it's soil. So damp soil, copper and magnesium, or brass and zinc, or something like that. I don't remember which they are. Well, they're almost guaranteed to be magnesium nowadays, because I use magnesium on all of them, because I've got a little coil of magnesium. The main thing about this one is, when I started doing this sort of thing with potato batteries and orange batteries and that sort of thing, we were having some discussion in the comments about whether you could use a live orange growing on an orange tree and whether you could connect up to it. And I said that I thought there might be a problem with the copper, because people use copper nails to kill trees. You nail them into the trunk, the copper has some sort of effect, and the tree dies. So I didn't think it would work. I didn't think you could use your copper and your zinc, or copper and your magnesium, in a live growing orange on an orange tree. I thought it might upset the tree. So I didn't expect anything to grow in the soil. I thought that the copper would taint the soil and nothing would grow. And for the first month or so, nothing did grow. But as you can see, over the months, we've got grass and we've got other little plants that are all happily growing in there, and they're not the least bit worried about the copper in the soil. So that was a surprise. That one is the remains of the last thing that was plugged into was a sweet potato, but it's actually a little kit I made up so I could go and take it out with me and plug it into the ground and demonstrate it working on the soil in the ground or on the sand on the beach. But I stuck it into a sweet potato. Sweet potato lasted for a few months before it had gone mouldy. Although it was still working, the reason it stopped working was the magnesium had been eaten away completely, as you can see. And then this one is a little clock mechanism I bought off eBay or AliExpress or whatever. Should have a very small button cell in it, but I rigged it up so we've got a couple of wires coming out of it to a copper and a magnesium strip, and that is running in water. And again, that one I have to replace the magnesium strip every so often because that gets eaten away. What else have we got? Not a lot really. That's an ordinary clock running off a battery. There's some other clocks over there, a couple of solar things. Grandad fishing. What we've got in there is a pendulum circuit out of a clock, and it's just rocking the fish as a pendulum. And that runs for months before I have to change the battery. It's actually running on vape batteries, lithium polymer batteries. So I charge them up every so often. I think that's about it. That clock, every so often, about every 12 hours, it tilts. That little ball runs across. It should hit that and make a little ding. It does, but I can barely hear it when it does it. And then about another 12 hours, it goes back the other way. Solar pulse motor, not enough sunlight at the moment for that to be going round. That one has got effectively a pulse motor circuit in it running off a battery. I think the battery must be flat. Oh no, it's picking up speed. The base was off a, what do they call it, executive toy, random motion thing. It was, let's stop that, that's getting a bit noisy. Yeah, various balls going around in different motion, but I found it was a bit, it just bored me. I prefer that. Although, as you can see, I don't use it. I leave it switched off. Well, it's effectively switched off unless you give it a spin. And then it just keeps going and gets really noisy. That one's the remains of another pulse motor, but there's no circuitry with it. Solar-powered lights. Solar-powered spaceman. So he comes on when it gets dark. Security camera. Solar-powered owls. 3D printing. Wobbly Grandad. Just on a spring. That is a solar-powered roundabout thing, but actually it's got a battery in it at the moment. That's why it's going. He's solar-powered, and he's got a supercapacitor on him, so he keeps going when it gets dark, as it charges up. The clock has got an LED display behind it from a garden light running off that solar panel. That solar panel lights up those blue LEDs, although at the moment we haven't had much sunlight, so they don't do much. That's just an ordinary solar flower, but it's not in the sunlight, so he's not rocking much. He spins round, the sun shines on him. That one would spin if it wasn't stuck to the side there. That one doesn't do anything. Another solar light in there. Oh, that helicopter behind there is solar powered. It used to be a little radio controlled helicopter, but it died, so I just converted it to solar power. Can we see that at all? Yeah, just about. This lot is all magnetically coupled. The base of a solar rocker there. that makes this fella rock, and when he rocks, there's magnets there that make that one rock, which make that one rock. I think that's about it. Oh, that's solar powered, that lights up at night. Yeah, I think that's a sort of a general talk round the stuff that's stuck in the window ledge. Oh, and then most of these other things are solar powered as well. In the summer they light up, don't do much in the winter. And then some 3D printed items, wooden kit, more 3D printing, solar light, foam kit. Yeah, I think we more or less covered it for now. I made that on holiday. That's little bits of slate. Yeah, I think that's about it. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment so I know how I'm doing. And somewhere up here there'll be some links to related playlists. Thanks again.